Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to talk about Skeleton Ship. By the way, this has received errata to make it a skeleton and not a ship. So it just now says legendary creature dash skeleton. Anyway, this is one of the old school suck ass legends from Ice Age. Now, we didn't know it sucked at the time because, let's face it, things were different back then. There was no such thing as professionals, and we didn't know things. The entire world was learning the game. But 5 mana for a 0/3 that, in fact, does not have Island Walk, even though it is a ship. But you got to have islands to have it, or else it dies. It makes sense. And you tap to put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. I could have gone several ways with this. I wanted to do tribal ships, and then I found out it wasn't a ship anymore. And I was like, well, what about ships in the title? So I did something that, because it is black and blue. It's not just a blue ship. It looks a lot like, a disease-carrying ship, just at least to me. So that's what I did. I kind of went that route, and I did the poison counter approach. Now, as far as poison goes, obviously first and foremost we have to have the contagion engine, because that's probably our win con. And the baby engine, the clasp. Now, the Decimator Web is actually, I've always called it 10% because it actually, they lose 2 life, they get a poison counter, and they mill 6. So the 3 different lose conditions that exist in the game, it does 10% of each one. Because you typically have, in a normal constructed environment, you typically have 60 cards in the library, and then you have 20 life, and then you get 1, or you lose it 10 poison counter. So I've always called this 10%er. Anyway, it does really good work in the fact of getting the first poison counter through, because you're not always going to be able to make contact with your infect dudes. Now, the -1/-1 counter theme is also kind of real, but you got to have some way to get rid of those damn hexproof creatures. So, and of course, we have a general that taps to produce an effect, so I might as well, 3 mana to untap it to tap it again. That's a little mana intensive, but there are times when you've got mana left over, and I would rather have this and use all your mana every turn, even if you just wait till the end of the turn that's before yours, than just to go through your untap step and still have 8 untapped lands, and you're like, wow, I just wasted this mana. I wasted this opportunity. Anyway, I do have a little bit of mana ramp. Worn Power Stone, Thran Dynamo, Darksteel Ingot always gets appreciation from me because, it is indestructible. The Soul Ring, Hedron Archive, the Border Post, the Signet, the Monolith. Now, the Monolith, 3 for 3, is, it's not great, but once you factor in the clock and all those artifacts, and the fact that Contagion Engine taps, and that you can, because every time you're spending the mana and activating Contagion Engine, they're getting 2 poison. So the ability to do it on every person's turn, all you need is to Decimator Web somebody wants. And once they get that poison counter, you can start proliferating from there. And of course, we are proliferate, so I'm running the Ever-Flowing Chalice. I am actually out of the Astral Cornucopias. They're all in use. I looked, but it's a beautiful, beautiful card. Now, where's it at? Amonkhet gave us a Nest of Scarabs, which is outstanding. I now have it in my Hapatra deck, or any deck, really, that has a -1/-1 theme. So It's a beautiful, beautiful card, especially in this deck. Crumbling Ashes. You get to cap something with a -1/-1 counter on it, which just so happens our general passes them out like candy. The Bowfly Infestation. Whenever a creature is put into a yard, if it had a -1/-1 counter on it, you get to move that counter essentially to somebody else. So that's neat. The Tide. Playing a spell and proliferating is sweet. Now, Venom's Aura and Free from the Real I use basically for the same slot. This is a blue to untap my general. You're going to enchant your general and just get crazy with the whole minus counters to try to, minus out some indestructible things. So what with them giving us 5 more indestructible gods. Now, granted, the hour gods are not going to be indestructible, but there's enough indestructible problems that need to be dealt with. Future Sight, because it is card draw. I mean, it's just card draw. Every card you play off the top of your library is a card draw. I'm running Snake Cult, because Snake Cult, it's not Infect. It's different than Infect. It is poisonous. So, whenever it deals... Now, if you do have a creature, say your Crusader, who does have Infect, and you give it the Poisonous 3... The way the Poisonous works, if you'll read it, it says, when it deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 3 poison counters. Now, the Crusader is still going to do his 2 points of infect damage, giving 2 counters. So, if you Snake Cult your Crusader, 1 combat is 5 poison, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, you're halfway there for 2 damage. Anyway, Necroskitter Wither kind of plays with the -1/-1 thing, since we are doing the Proliferate, Thrumming Bird, and Corrupted Conscience, because nothing's sicker than taking somebody's Avacyn and being like, yeah. Do have the Incremental Blight, Spread the Sickness. Now, blue-black, we're going to get into some utility cards here. I love the Diabolic Vision. It's, I mean, you've got to be playing blue and black, but it's a super impulse, essentially. We got Brainstorm. Control Magic, just because it's old school. Now, Diabolic Tutor, a board wipe in the form of the Crux. Flood. Flood does not get enough love. I am telling you what. 1 blue mana to cast, 2 to use. Just, a non-flying creature becomes tapped. Sometimes that's all it takes to just bust through. Now, the Caress of Phyrexia is probably, this is probably one of those cards that I can actually see using on my opponent way more than using on me. Because a lot of times this is your last shot after you've proliferated and maybe you've got your poisonous thing going on, whatever, and they're at 7, 8, or 9, and you can just shoot them down with this. Now, Steady Progress, draw card, proliferate, then draw a card. Regular, good old-fashioned counterspell. Counterspell, then proliferate. Hey, let's pass out a minus counter and then proliferate. I love some Fate Transfer. A buddy of mine, Will, showed me this years ago when Shadowmoor came out. He had a whole minus theme deck, and it's beautiful. If you've mounted up those counters on something and a bigger threat comes out, it's a sweet deal. Okay, now we're going to get into the tutors. Okay. And this is a tutor. You're never going to use this. I have never perplexed a spell. Never. I have always transmuted it. Transmute for 3 is good. There's a lot of the pieces of the deck that has 3. A lot of the pieces that has 5. We have, let's see, seems like there's another one that has 3 that transmutes for 3. These are just more tutors. That's what they are. Kind of wanted to go old school a little bit with Terror and Mind Twist because we are killing things and maybe they're not being... Animate Dead, we are killing things. I mean, we are straight up killing things. So the Animate Dead, the Rise from the Grave are just ways to, steal, to keep what you kill, as it were. Plague Stinger, man, this guy is, I just don't think he gets enough love. 2 mana, flyer, 1/1. In fact, that's living the dream. Got a good old handy dandy clone to copy anything that we should want to. Treasure Mage gets our Contagion Engine. Yeah. That's it. That's what he's there for. Trinket Mage will get you like your Everflowing Chalice and your Soul Ring and whatnot. And also kind of like the, playing with both of them. I didn't really have a purpose in getting the, Trophy Mage. I don't know. Probably should. We got the Plague Mirror, which it doubles, it's a 1/1 effect, but it also doubles as ramp if you need it to be. The Viral Drake, infect, and with built-in mana proliferate. It doesn't tap it, so that's beautiful. You can use it while tapped, you can swing and then do it. And this guy's just a 3/3 that more than likely he kills something when he comes into play. Now, Poor Man's Top, also called Mystic Speculation, that's what it is to me. This is a Poor Man's Top. I'm going to, I don't have as many tops as I would like, but for 3 mana, you're scrying 3, and you do have the option of putting them on the bottom, so it's a pretty sweet thing. It is sorcery, it's not instant, so you got to do it on your turn. Siphon Mine, you want to talk about card draw. 4 mana will do it. Mind Leech Mask. Oh my god, I hated this card so much when Ravnica came out. This card was horrible. Anytime I couldn't deal with it, I would just concede in tournament standard Ravnica, because I was like, it's just too powerful. It's 6/6. You can barely see that. It's 6/6 and it's trample, so you've got to absorb a shit ton of damage just to be able to not have your own deck played against you, pretty much. We've got the Nightveil Spectre going in with it. I mean, it's hard to play blue-black and not, take people's shit. It's hard. Consuming Aberration, while not an inherent mill strategy in the deck, there is we do have the Decimator Web, the 10%, and that does put 6, but just the natural course of playing an EDH game with multiple players puts things in the yard. Hell, everybody's got tons of board wipes. Everybody does. That's kind of why I kind of shot away from as many in this deck as I do in others, because let's face it, something gets out of hand, another player will board wipe it, and you just reap the benefit. Praetor's Grasp. That's really strong. Now, we are playing blue and we are playing black, so we've got blue and black and artifacts. And it's face down, so they don't know what you got. I have actually, in years past, I have Praetor's Grasp somebody for a land. When I've been hard up on land, maybe I've got screwed on colors or whatever. But yeah, it's a good card. And if you know absolutely that they've got half of their combo out and the other one they still haven't drawn, or else they'd have played it, you just go and get that Joker. I don't ever care about playing it until I see like a Pull from Eternity or whatnot. But anyway, Last card I got for you is the Book of the Dead. They couldn't use Book of the Dead for reasons that, I don't know, they said they didn't want to. Anyway, it's the Book of the Dead. You open the book, you read it for a little while, you study it, and you get all the dead things. So, which by the sheer nature of our general, we're going to be killing things. That is what I've got for the old skeleton ship. I do appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. And now it's going to get fuzzy. It did so well. There we go. I do appreciate you watching, liking, commenting, sharing, doing all the things. You know, I appreciate it. But right now, it's time to shuffle and cut.